Hi everybody, welcome to the review. It is 9:29 p.m., December 19th, 2024. Finished watching Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and as per usual, be spoiler free. And if you like the content of my channel, please hit the subscribe button below, spread your word to your friends and family, and be sure to hit the Discord link to join myself and others in engaging in conversation on my Discord server. And without further ado, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I remember when my mother bought the original Sega Genesis console along with Sonic the Hedgehog. I played that game religiously every single day. I can remember my father, when he attempted to play, he got really dizzy because all the different colors that Sonic the Hedgehog spinning in all kinds of different directions at high speed just gave him all kinds of vertigo. I played that game every day along with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and of course Sonic and Knuckles. And who can forget the combination unit that allowed you to play Knuckles and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and just all the different Easter eggs and the secrets that it unfolded when you played that game, depending on what path you took. It was just nostalgia from beginning to end, especially when you watch this film. It's just a lot of cool references and Easter eggs that just jump out at you. You have Sonic and Tails and Knuckles returning within this film, along with the inclusion of Sonic, Shadow the Hedgehog. Jim Carrey's returning as Dr. Robotnik, and he's portraying Grandpa Robotnik. It's a sequel, but at the same time, it's not a sequel. It's more or less a self-contained story that does have a tendency of expanding the universe, but is still self-contained within that particular story, if that makes any sense. It begins with the introduction of Shadow the Hedgehog, and when he shows up, just all kinds of chaos is happening, and Keanu Reeves does an amazing, excellent job bringing this character to life. His voice is simply perfect for Shadow. I loved what he brought to the table, and let me say, yes, it is in the trailers, and so it's not so much of a spoiler. That moment with the Akira reference, which is one of my favorite anime films of all time. If you have not watched Akira, you need to do so immediately. There's also a scene, yes, where he does get a gun, reminding you of John Wick, and you can't ask for much more than that. The thematic elements of Shadow the Hedgehog, along with the flashbacks with Maria, really pull at the emotional heartstrings and just tears your soul to pieces, because you definitely feel the emotional connection between those two characters. And I have to say, my favorite moments from the dramatic aspect were those flashback sequences. I do believe that there should have been more of those that fleshed out the character, because it just really, from those cutscenes that I watched on YouTube, for example, they were just picture perfect and they were faithfully adapted, and I loved how they brought that to life. Jim Carrey once again brings about his physical, electric, charismatic energy with chewing up every single scene that he's in, where he's portraying young Robotnik and Grandpa Robotnik. And you have two for the price of one. And it's to be expected. Jim Carrey will always be Jim Carrey with these roles, and he never fails. And I loved what he did with Dr. Robotnik. It's just true. I just can't help but I can't picture anyone else but Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. That's just the way it is. He did mention that he wouldn't return to Sonic the Hedgehog 3 unless it was a script of gold, and I can see what he was talking about, because it does have there are some emotional thematic elements with the characters, with both young Robotnik and Grandpa Robotnik, that they do focus on. But that's also where the problem does kind of drag the film a bit down, because you have so many subplots that are going. You have Sonic and Tails and Knuckles interacting with Donut Lord and of course his wife. Then you have the backstory of Shadow the Hedgehog and Maria. And then you have Dr. Robotnik and Grandpa Robotnik. So there's a lot going on that tends to drag the pace of the film down. Now, anyone who is familiar with Dragon Ball Z, I'm going to ask you this: do any of you remember when you're watching the episode, say it's a fight between Goku and Vegeta, and it's getting really heavy-handed, it's emotional, it's intense, it's brutal, and before all of a sudden it cuts away to a comedic element that just kind of throws the pacing off? There are some moments and scenes where this does happen in this film that does have the tendency of taking away from the impact that the scene's supposed to resonate with. But it's not to the point to where it gives you the sense of it's annoying. It's just you wish that they kept that same momentum, because I do believe that they could have easily included more scenes with Maria and Shadow to flesh the story out and kept that momentum going, as far as having it coincide with the interaction between Shadow, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. It did get a bit jarring at times, but it wasn't just it didn't detract me from enjoying the film. I would say that much. The action sequences are absolutely breathtaking. I wish they would have went on longer, especially towards the end. It is pure Sonic the Hedgehog bliss video game coming to life. I don't want to go into any detailed spoilers about that moment, but let me just go ahead and say, be prepared. You're going to be holding on to your seat. And if you are familiar with the games, you're going to be grinning from ear to ear because it's literally a childhood memory just coming to life right before your eyes. And Jeff Fowler did a brilliant job at bringing this franchise to life. And I just can't say enough. Thank you to Paramount for actually listening to the fans and changing that horrendous original Sonic design, because I don't believe we would have even been talking about this if they didn't. So I have to say, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with the great Easter eggs and breaking the fourth wall, a lot of different musical moments that just triggered the memory when you first turned on Sonic the Hedgehog playing the video game on Sega Genesis. And yes, there are two scenes during the credits. Be sure to stay for both of them, particularly the first one. The first one is absolutely just exciting. There was someone who was sitting next to me that just howled with pure childhood glee. It caught me off guard, but if you are a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, or say Sonic X or the animated series, please be sure to stay for both of those scenes. And that is my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I'm going to go ahead and give it 2 thumbs up, a 9 out of 10. Highly recommend it. It is very appropriate for children. Probably the darkest Sonic film that you're going to watch within this franchise. It's not dark to the point to where it's traumatizing, but it is very dark. There are a lot of thematic, heavy, and emotional, traumatic elements in this film. But overall, I highly enjoyed it. It's wonderful. I do recommend it. And please let me know in the comment section what you thought about it. Provide a like. And the next review that I do intend on contributing to the YouTube channel is most likely going to be Homestead. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all remain safe. Take care, and peace out.